Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
Here we are. You, me, Charlie using Chicago Charlie, producing other side of the glass. You missed Peter Fagan, Milwaukee Bucks president, in the first hour. You missed Matt Bernstein. He was awesome. Former Badger fullback, Believe in Badgers podcast. All you got to do, wherever you find your favorite podcast at, search for Wisconsin Sports Daily. You'll find us. You can go back and listen to anything that you may have missed on today's show or yesterday's show or last week's show or 2 weeks ago, whatever the case may be. You can always find it wherever you search on your favorite podcast. Just type in Wisconsin Sports Daily. You should be able to find us. Okay. Coming up this hour, Green and Gold update coming up in just a few moments. We'll hear from some of what David Bakhtiari had to say on the podcast that John Kuhn and Matt Schneidman do every week. So we'll get to that. Got to talk about Chris Middleton as he comes back tonight, his first time back playing against the Bucks since they moved on from him to the Washington Wizards, as tonight is opening night for the Bucks. We'll make our predictions for the season as well. So lots to get to, including Charlie's Sounds of the Day. That'll be coming up here at 4:20, brought to you by Prize Picks. But first, we started to talk to Brewer Mike, and then he said he has more than a minute to say. So I said, okay, fine. We'll give you more time. Brewer Mike in Waukesha joins us again on the Nicolay Law Talking text line. What's up, Brewer Mike?
Spark, thank you. You know I love you, brother. Yeah,
and I love you too, Brewer Mike.
It's been 20 great years, Sparky, and I'm so glad I can talk to you all the time now. And I know I could talk to you all the time before, but let's move on. Anyway, Christian Yelich, okay, where do you stand at trading him for just prospects?
So there's a couple of things here. Number one, you're trading a guy with a contract of about $25 million this year, 24, 3 years. Then there's an option. I would assume the Brewers are out. So you got 3 more years left on that deal to trade Christian Yelich. Mm-hmm. And for me, it has to be somewhat about now and has to be somewhat about the future. Peralta is different because there's only 1 year left on his deal. You're not going to get as much probably. With Yelich doing what he did this year, put his value back to where it should be. There's no guarantees he'll be this healthy again going forward. But when you hit almost 30 home runs and have over 100 RBIs, his value is never going to be higher in the next 3 years as he continues to get older and older going forward here. So if that's something they considered, and I don't think they will, but if that's something they would consider, I would want a guy that can play now, a bat that can play now, and then probably a couple of prospects to go along with that. And I would probably do what every other team would do, which is I want a couple of pitching prospects, but I want a bat to play in my lineup immediately.
What about, and I don't know his contract status, but what I was thinking, Sparky, the other day was, what about Dylan Cease from the Padres? Is he locked up with them?
Let me look. I'm a big fan of that dude. I was a big fan of that dude with the White Sox.
I am too. I wish they would have got him a long time ago.
Yeah, I like him with the White Sox too. My guess is the Brewers cannot afford him whatsoever. Let me see what we got here. He is an unrestricted free agent this offseason. He made $13.75 million this last year. So he could be had if the Brewers wanted to go down that route. Now, before you say anything to this, I'm going to go to Charlie. Charlie, how much do you think he's going to make a year? Yesterday, we said Peralta's going to get at least 20 a year.
Yeah,
what about Cease?
More than Freddie Peralta. He's probably going to be in 25? That 25 range. I would assume. Yeah, the Brewers aren't even touching that with a 10-foot.
Okay, but now hold on a second. To his point, you could trade Yelich, clear his money, and then try to sign Dylan Cease by clearing Yelich's money.
The Brewers aren't touching that with a 10-foot pole. I think they'd rather pay a position player like a Christian Yelich, like a Ryan Braun, like any of these players.
I agree.
They have shown that when they've had these pitchers, they aren't going to pay them like that. And
Correct.
Dylan Cease, and more recently, Dylan Cease has had injury problems throughout his career. Guys like Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, after they signed giant contracts, all seem to can't stay on the field for longer than one season, and then it's 3 seasons of being off.
That's the thing, though, Brewer Mike. Yeah. I think they think like he does, and I think like Charlie does too in that aspect. Yeah. They don't want to put a ton of money into pitching. because they've shown, unlike Doug Melvin's regime, they've shown with this regime, David Stearns and with Matt Arnold, that they can develop pitching in their farm system and have it be beneficial.
Yeah, but if you're talking contracts, wouldn't that, and I agree with you 1,000%, that Cease would probably make more than Peralta. But if you trade a Yelich, all right, a Yelich for a Cease, isn't that kind of like, or am I being stupid here? Is that kind of even up as far as dollar-wise?
Yeah, but you're not trading him because Cease is going to be a free agent. You can't trade a free agent. Dollar-wise, yes.
Okay.
Money swap-wise,
you're right.
Money swap-wise, yes. So you would trade
Okay.
Yelich for prospects where no money comes back, and then Cease you would sign to essentially take that number on the roster. So from that aspect, yes, you're swapping his salary for his salary. Now, again, the other issue going against Dylan Cease here, if you're the Brewers, is Dylan Cease is 29 years old right now. He's going to be 30 next year. So do you want to give a guy a 5 or 6 year deal at the age of 30 when he's a pitcher? That's another potential issue, I think, if you're the Brewers.
Well, I would give him a 3-year contract.
So would I, but I think he's going to want more than
option.
that.
Right. Well, let's just say no one else does. I mean, I give him a 3-year contract. I give him $25 million a year for 3 years.
I'd give him 5 at 125. I wouldn't flinch.
I would too. Yeah.
But again, if you're talking about from a Brewers perspective, I don't think they can afford to do that, because if he gets hurt, like say with like Woodruff, and he's out 2 years, you can't overcome that. Just like they were struggling to overcome Yelich's horrible bat for 2 or 3 years when he was struggling at the plate after all of his injuries. Thanks for the call, Brewer Mike. That's the thing, though. And again, this is talking about it from a Brewers perspective. Did you see the report on Kyle Tucker from John Heyman?
I haven't yet, no.
Kyle Tucker, Heyman, and John Morosi, both. John Morosi was on this morning on MLB Network. Both of them said the Dodgers are going after Tucker this offseason.
Makes sense.
Going to make around $400 million or so long term. They tried to get Soto, remember, and they didn't get him. And as was pointed out, their weakness probably is their outfield. And you're telling me, are you going to be mad if you lose to the Dodgers in the NLCS next year? What are we going to do? I mean, what are you going to do? If they're all healthy and they have Kyle Tucker? No, man. You're not going to match up with that. There's no chance. So that is going to be something completely different. So I don't know. This whole thing with baseball and how this all works is pretty crazy. Do I wish the Brewers spent more money? Yes. And I got involved in the 9 to noon show with John Kuhn and Rami Makaloff today, hopped on the air there because they were yelling at Rami left and right about how they can't afford to spend more money and so forth. And I brought up that Codified Baseball that you and I have talked about, where you've got $330-some million in revenue, according to that, and they're only spending like 120. It's like 40%. If they spend 50% of their revenue instead of 40%, and then John Kuhn's like, yeah, but I mean, operating cost is probably like 175 or 180. I said, okay, cool. Then that still leaves them another $30 or so million to add to this payroll if you say that's what it is, and they would still be beneficial at that point if you went that way. And $30 million gets you to keep Yelich and sign Dylan Cease if you choose to.
Well, and I also feel like the way Mark Atanasio runs that organization, no, I don't think it touches 175 million. He does a really good job of getting outside vendors to come in and provide the food, provide the services for him that way. They have the parking lot, which they don't really have to charge overtime for that or be charged overtime for that. I mean, they have the money. It's there in this organization. And there's got to be a point here where he either spends it or moves on himself because he's making enough.
He's not moving on. His kids are taking over this organization. This is going to be the Steinbrenners in New York. The Antanasio family is going to own this.
Maybe his kids will do something different. That's
forever.
Like, it doesn't matter if it's in the family. Like, I get that.
I'm just saying they're not selling.
I'm saying him specifically.
Yeah.
Move on. Yes.
Maybe his kids take over. Maybe they do it differently. Maybe they go about it differently. But as far as selling it, that is definitely not happening.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Steve Sparky Fifer.
All right, let's get to our green and gold update. Now, I will tell you that David Bakhtiari does this joined the podcast of John Kuhn and Matt Schneidman. Matt Schneidman, obviously the Packer beat writer for The Athletic. And the name of the show is called The Tundra, right? Is that
Correct.
what you said?
Yep, The Tundra.
The Tundra, right. And so I wanted to play a couple clips from this. Number one, because I love David Bakhtiari. He used to come on our afternoon show back in the day that we used to have in Milwaukee. So I wanted to play some of this for you. David Bakhtiari talking about the clip that went viral when Aaron Rodgers was celebrating on the field and then was tackled by his own offensive tackle. And Rodgers popped up angry and shoved his offensive tackle for tackling him. I thought it was the best thing in the world. Here's Bakhtiari.
No, I was laughing hysterically because
we all were.
Yeah, I mean, that is, I don't know. I think you learn that in that's like 101. And even take out Aaron out of it. Don't ever tackle your quarterback. Don't ever jump on the back of a quarterback, period. I think that's just known. If you're offensive lineman, never jump on the back of a quarterback. The quarterback's supposed to jump on your back.
Did he think he was like a Smurf or something that he could jump on his back?
That's the part that baffles me. One. Two is never jump on a quarterback that's over 40 years old. That's another thing.
Old guy.
Because you're 100% going to the ground. And then not to mention three, now insert who that 40-year-old quarterback that's 40 years old is. Aaron and his history of, people jumping on his back and, blowing his Achilles. Not a smart thing to do, just purely just the amount of weight and force. It blew my mind and I was just laughing, which rightfully so. I saw why he got upset. And other people are like, oh, was he joking? But I'm like, no, that is authentic. I would be pissed too if I was his age and had his frail of a body, having the kind of that sloppy dad bod, but doesn't have kids yet, playing in his 40s. I would be just pissed too, having a 330-pound guy jumping on my back.
That is amazing. I'm telling you, David Bakhtiari, he should have his own deal where he's just talking about it, all things football. Bakhtiari would have huge numbers.
He's awesome. I love offensive linemen. I love listening to offensive linemen talk. And they're always the funniest guys. I feel like every single time they're always either the quietest dudes, but they still end up being the funniest dudes, or the loudest dudes and the funniest dudes.
And I've also found they're always the most sarcastic dudes as well on the offensive line. David Bakhtiari talking with John Kuhn and Matt Schneidman about expectations going into this game. Packers Steelers Sunday night, which by the way will have the Green Bay football post-game show coming up on Sunday night. Following that one, myself, Tommy Wirtz, will be here to take your calls. Go inside the locker room. Ryan Wood, Packers beat writer for the Green Bay Press Gazette, joins us on every Green Bay football post-game show as well. So it'll be a late one Sunday night, but well worth it. And I don't want to see my team lose to the traitor. They better not lose to freaking Aaron Rodgers. I'll tell you right now, that better not happen. Here's Bakhtiari.
Well, I want the Packers to win, but I want Aaron to play really well. That's number one thing that goes in my mind.
Friendship thing.
Two,
always.
Can't wait to hear all the sound bites of it's just another game for both sides all week. This is a really big game. Of course, Aaron wants to say he's beaten every single team. Of course, he wants to stick it back, to the Packers because somehow, some way, he feels like it's probably wronged him in any sort of fashion because that's just kind of how he's wired. And I'm sure the Packers, everyone up on the third floor, coaches, I'm sure even guys that play with Aaron would love to beat Aaron too. I'm sure Rashawn would love to sack him. But I also know Rashawn's going to make sure that he takes care of him too. He's not going to try and light him up, but he wants to definitely get a sack, just like I'm sure a bunch of other guys who play with him. So I think it's going to be a fun homecoming. That's going to be a lot of hugs pregame. So if there are bets that there's going to be a camera panning to Aaron hugging at least 1.5 people or 2.5 people, I'll take the over all day. There's going to be a lot of people going up saying hi, and it's going to be all pleasantries. And then, come kickoff, both sides are, not obviously every single time you play a football game, you want to win either side, but this one's going to mean a little bit more to each side.
Can we talk about that whole, it's going to mean a whole bunch more to each side? There's barely anybody left on this roster that even played with Aaron Rodgers. There's barely anybody left. Most of these cats are all gone. And Watson's here, but he was here with him for what? That long? It's not like any of his old school guys that he played with all these years are still roaming around. Kenny Clark, gone. See ya. He's out of here. there just aren't many guys left that have any animosity or any want to joke around and poke fun at him for beating them that's on this roster outside of maybe the head coach. Obviously, him and the offensive coaching staff, obviously want to beat Aaron Rodgers, but player-wise, there's not a bunch of guys left.
But the coaching staff is who matters in this matchup against Aaron Rodgers. That's a really big deal that people want to see Matt LaFleur versus Aaron Rodgers. And the other person is Jordan Love, who did play a year underneath Aaron Rodgers and wants to learn about that, or people want to learn the bigger side between those two guys. I think that's what matters to them right now. It doesn't matter that nobody else on this team, the quarterback and the head coach, have a relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and that's what matters to the people.
No doubt. So again, we're playing clips from the Tundra podcast that is a weekly, I think it's a weekly podcast, right? With John Kuhn and Matt Schneidman of The Athletic. Here's David Bakhtiari talking about how teams are approaching dealing with Micah Parsons.
Coaches, play callers specifically, they get lost in the macro details. They forget football is just a human game. Like, I think it's simple as you have your system and structure that you want to play, but then also understand what the hand that you're dealt. I don't even know who the starting tackle and who it should be at with Arizona, but say it is Jonah Williams, because I don't even know their depth chart. KYP, know your personnel. Know who Jonah Williams is, know who's going against him. And if you have that going in, there better be a plan against a player like Micah Parsons versus Jonah, and at least slide there always, have a back be motioned over, or put a tight end next to it and keep him in protection. But if you have trust in Jonah and you've seen it all week in practice and he's shown it throughout the year, then great, have at it. But also recognizing a game, maybe after I won't even go off sacks, maybe after the fourth pressure, you'd probably be like, hey, you know what? I don't want this guy keep interrupting my play calling, because that's literally what a pressure is, just interrupting the play, just kind of, puts the play off schedule. I need to start keeping on schedule. But these play callers get so locked in on, like, I got to run these calls, I got to run this play, this formation because of this, that, the other. I'm like, look, brother, no coverages in routes and concepts even freaking matter if we can't even block the front and give the quarterback time to go from, his first read to his third read, from either high to low or whatever you want to call it. So that's where my mind I sit there, I'm like, it's one in the trenches. Like, it's really not that difficult. Not saying like Micah Parsons is playing very well, especially rushing the passer and being relentless. Like, that's his recipe. I don't even have to go into details on how he's rushing. Just being relentless it's that's the best way to win a rep. So that's the part that just blows my mind. Just offensive play callers just need to be more in tune with KYP. Just know your personnel. Don't forget what's happening out there, and don't be stubborn about it. It's okay if you can only call a third of your plays. I'd rather call a third of the plays that work than, maybe 15% of my 100% of my plays that work.
I love David Bakhtiari. And when you hear him talk about Micah Parsons, I know that this was a big deal when they got him. I know that they gave up a lot to get him, and 2 first-round picks and in Kenyon Clark. I know how good Micah Parsons is. But when you hear a guy that was an all-pro, a perennial top left tackle in the National Football League, how he talks about Micah Parsons and how he thinks teams are game planning for Micah Parsons, that really tells you everything you want to know. Regardless of how many sacks he gets in a game, it changes the game completely for how you game plan offensively against this Packers defense. Way differently than if Kenny Clark's on the field and it's not Micah Parsons, Charlie.
The Detroit Lions team that was on the field in week 1 has not been the same exact team that's been on the field for the following 6 weeks for
Correct.
The Detroit Lions. It's been a completely different story because they did not have the time to prepare for a Micah Parsons, and it literally threw off their entire offensive game plan. That's impossible to deal with, and that was with brand new coordinators. There's teams in this league that the Packers have played already that have had the same coordinators for 3 to 4 years, and those guys are still struggling on how to figure out how to coach and prepare for a guy like Micah Parsons. But to David Bakhtiari's point, at some time here, you have to go to these offensive linemen and say, you know what, he's on the field. We have to do something about it. You have to figure it out. You have to man up and go out there and play some football and try to beat him at least half the time. We as the coaching staff can't draw up every single play in order to avoid him, because sometimes we're going to go after him. So you have to find a way to block him in those situations. And some of these teams just do not have the personnel to go out there and do that.
Thanks to all the new affiliates as part of the Wisconsin Radio Network. 99.7 FM, WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and in Milwaukee, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Make sure to follow us on social media at WI Sports Radio, live streaming our shows as well on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Just search the shows that you're looking for as well. Up for a game, Potawatomi Sportsbook is right there with you for all international games and matches. The Midwest's best sportsbook opens early. Place your bets, kick back, enjoy the show on an absolutely enormous video wall. It's 2,000 square feet is the one screen. It's crazy. Over 30 sporting events at one time. Then grab a cold one along with food from a menu packed with flavor from the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen. Not up for watching the game, but still want in on the action? You can wager on any sport, anytime at quick service kiosks scattered throughout the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Bet above the rest at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up next, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky Fifer with you. Coming up, things we missed on today's show, which will include our predictions for this season as the Bucks get ready to start off tonight. But before we get to all of that, we got to get to this.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
All right, top 3 clips brought to you by fine folks over there at Prize Picks. Charlie, what do we got?
And also brought to you by our fine coach over there of the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur. He is the source of all 3 of these clips.
Okay, nice.
The first one here is Matt LaFleur discussing his relationship with Aaron Rodgers, the now quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We had a great relationship. I thought it was a great collaboration of just all of us coming together and spent a lot of time together, especially that off season during COVID of trying to really bring more clarity to our offense of what we wanted to be and what we wanted to do and why we wanted to do it. And there was a ton of great conversations that led to us going out there and having a lot of success together.
When we talk about Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur's relationship and when it started, it wasn't pretty. LaFleur was trying to do his thing. Rodgers was wanting to still run McCarthy plays and was calling McCarthy plays in the huddle and literally doing his own thing. Then you get through that first season, and then out of the next offseason, you hear them talking about how now it's a shared vision, essentially, and it's an offense built by both of them, which it wasn't the first year. And now they were on the same page. And over the course of the next couple of years, that offense did seemingly look better as they were running a lot of what Aaron wanted, not as much as what Matt wanted. While Matt, I'm sure, does not agree with no motion before a play, no, pre-snap motion, and there are certain things that he did not like in all of that, I promise you, Matt LaFleur learned a lot from Aaron Rodgers. And regardless of what he might say, he probably learned some stuff too from Matt LaFleur while that relationship was moving forward, which is different than what you have now, which is Matt LaFleur is essentially the teacher. Jordan Love is essentially the student. This is all both of them know at this point from this standpoint, as far as Love doesn't have that experience of being with another coach, being in another offense, and so forth. He does in college, but that's not the same as Utah State's offense is not what the NFL offense is going to look like. Agree, Charlie?
I would agree. Yeah,
okay. Make sure I'm not overstepping and making Jordan Love mad at me in Green Bay. So from that perspective, he doesn't have as much knowledge to go off of to maybe go one way. Does he have opinions on what place he likes, what place he doesn't? Absolutely he does. No question. I think Rodgers' depth of knowledge was probably much deeper when LaFleur got there than maybe where we are with Jordan Love. But Jordan Love's depth of knowledge will obviously continue to grow game to game, year to year, moving forward. All right, what's next?
Well, Matt LaFleur discussed Aaron Rodgers and his relationship with Jordan Love and what Jordan Love has learned from Aaron Rodgers during Rodgers and Love's share time with the Packers.
Yeah, I thought he was awesome with him. He did a great job just being supportive with him, trying to give him nuggets all the time. And I think Jordan leaned into that and, just the mastery that he has of our offense, I think of the protection schemes that we do. And I thought it was great for both people.
When it comes to play style, can you see any influences of Aaron in the way that Jordan plays the position?
I think at times, yeah, but they're both their own quarterback.
Throws.
I think there's at certain times you can see some similarities.
What other similarities or influences?
Well, I think it all starts with just the footwork. We're both teach the left foot forward and gun, and Aaron was a great model for just how to perform the correct footwork on whatever play it is, and just the detail that goes into it. So I think there's some similarities there.
So there's a couple of different things here, right? So the jump throw that seemingly all three of them have done, whether it be Brett or Aaron or Jordan Love, I think that's part of it. The footwork and all of that minutia and fine detail, I'm not an expert on that, so I'll take LaFleur's word that Jordan Love took that from Aaron Rodgers as well. And one thing that we haven't seen as much from Jordan Love as maybe you did with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers didn't like playing the middle of the field. Still doesn't. He likes playing the sidelines, right? Less trouble, less chance of getting something bad going on, whatever. Always play to the side. You don't see the back shoulder throws from Jordan Love like you did with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that was a staple of Rodgers and Jordy Nelson and Devontae and so forth. I would love to see that at some point once he gets, like, Romeo and Dobbs and him should be on the same page at this point to run that, I would think. But you haven't seen that next element from Love. And at some point, I think you will see it, whether it's with Golden, whether it's with Watson, if he can stay on the field for an entire season. At some point, you start to see that. That play is hard to defend. And those guys that can throw that and have that chemistry with the receiver that can make that play work are ones that can really take advantage of situations.
But that's the biggest key. You have to have that chemistry with the wide receiver in order to make that work. You have to know that both these guys are trusting each other and are on the same page in order to make those types of completions on a consistent basis. At the end of last season, before he got hurt, you saw it. Christian Watson and Jordan Love have that type of connection. There was a lot of plays where Jordan was just chucking it up for Christian Watson to find over the back shoulder and figure something out that way. I think that's a player that if he can come back healthy here can do that for him. But I think also we saw last week Tucker Kraft start to be a player that you can see him trusting a little bit more downfield, especially in the red zone.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of options here for Jordan Love. You're definitely going to see him start to get more comfortable with that.
But you have to throw to the guy more than 3 times a game consistently, week to week, to build the chemistry, which has been a bugaboo, I think, of this offense for the last couple of years. All right, next.
And last up here, we're going to hear from Matt LaFleur discussing Micah Parsons and his performance versus the Cardinals and what he's done for this team since he's joined the squad.
I think he's done a great job of coming in and fitting right in and being one of the guys, and, you know, the guys embracing him. So you can definitely feel him out of practice, just how hard he practices. And yeah, he's been great just on the field, off the field. He's a very intelligent guy as well. That always helps in terms of just his ability to pick up what we were doing at a pretty fast rate.
With him being player of the week, is that something that you recognize in the locker room, or is it kind of
Of course. Absolutely. We recognize that in the team meeting and, you know, congratulate him. And then it's all right, on to the next.
Were you as shocked as everyone else that he never had 3 sacks in a game before? That seems
I was. I questioned Wallers after the game. It really should have been a 4th, but unfortunate penalty right there.
Mike, same way too, by the way.
Yeah, I think Mike was right.
There you go. So, you know, I didn't agree with that either. And I understand that we're trying to avoid guys from getting hurt, and that's why, you know, that tackle essentially was outlawed. But in that situation, Micah Parsons has his arms wrapped around him. So now he's supposed to think, oh, no, I'm going to get flagged. Let him go and let the dude run 10 yards upfield. That's what the NFL wants to happen in those situations. Like, I can't wrap my head around that.
That is what the NFL wants.
Yes.
They want the offense to be as potent as possible. They want the quarterbacks to be out there making as big of plays as possible. The running backs having these huge runs. That's what makes them money. So, yeah, they want to do everything they can to make sure the offense has these big plays.
Guys that did not participate in practice today, Dontavian Wicks with a calf. Lucas Van Ness still out with that foot injury as well. Also not participating with a white quadricep injury is Brandon McManus, the kicker. A bunch of other guys, limited participation. There is some thought that maybe Christian Watson finds his way onto the football field against Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Watson was a rookie when Rodgers was here. So it will be fun to see Christian Watson can make his return in Pittsburgh Sunday night. We'll have the Green Bay football postgame show here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network immediately following that one with Tommy Wirtz and myself. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, we'll be on at 10:30. We'll be on 10:30 to midnight coming up on Sunday night after Green Bay plays Pittsburgh. So Should be a lot of fun. All right, that'll wrap it up there for Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Coming up next, things that we missed. One of the things that we missed that we were going to do yesterday, we never got to, was make our predictions for the NBA season and for the Milwaukee Bucks, as Game 1 is coming up tonight. And the San Francisco Giants made an interesting baseball manager hire that I'd like to talk about a little bit too. That's all coming up straight ahead. Hey, it's Sparky, up for a game? Potawatomi Sportsbook is right there with you. For all international games and matches, the Midwest's best sportsbook opens early. Place your bets, kick back, and enjoy the show on an absolutely enormous video wall. Grab a cold one, along with some food from a menu packed with flavor. Not if you're watching the game, but still want in on the action. You can wager on any sport at any time at quick service kiosks. Bet above the rest at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky, Fifer, Charlie Usen, other side of the glass. Bucks, Wizards tonight. When the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate frosty classic. No purchase necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after a win. So act fast. Get that free small frosty classic at Wendy's. You literally just pull up into the drive-thru and go, hey, Bucks won. Can I get my free chocolate or vanilla frosty? That's it. Simple. It's not that hard. Real easy. And it's every time. So the Bucks win 50 games, you got a chance to get 50 free frosties if you take advantage of it each and every time. So definitely want to take advantage of that. All right, things that we missed on today's show. In the break, Charlie discovered some baseball news involving the Milwaukee Brewers. So, Charlie, let's leave with that so we don't forget.
All right, so the 2025 National League Silver Slugger Award finalist has been released. Sparky, if you had to guess off your head, there's 3 Milwaukee Brewers. Who are those 3 Milwaukee Brewers? I kind of gave you a little hint.
Terang, Frelick, Yelich.
Not Frelick, but you were right about Terang and Yelich. Terang and Yelich are in their respective positions. Terang's up against Ketel Marte and Nico Horner. In the second base category, Yelich is up against Kyle Schwarber and Shohei Ohtani, so he's not winning. No shot.
No chance.
The third Brewer was William Contreras at catcher. He's going up against Hunter Goodman and Will Smith. I think he probably has the best chance at winning his category, actually.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. And again, William Contreras be another guy we're going to be talking about. Are they going to end up having to move him in a little bit? And we haven't really talked about William Contreras. We've been too busy talking about, Freddie Peralta and what that deal looks like. And now we've been talking a little bit about what it looks like as far as Christian Yelich goes with his situation, whether or not they would possibly move him to get something back in return. And we look at Christian Yelich's contract. They have a club option next year, which obviously the Brewers will pick up for $12 million. Then he has his last year of arbitration in 2027 and then a free agent in 28. So essentially, he could have only 2 years left of team control here, which means after next year, going into that offseason, which there won't be one because we'll be in a lockout or a strike as expected. But at that point, you could be going into the last year of Contreras' contract, and then there could be a whole different conversation. Now, the one thing that should be pointed out here is, let's say Mark Attanasio and the Brewers go, you know what? We think we're going to get a salary cap. We think that we're going to be able to be more of a player financially in this thing when this is all said and done. Because Attanasio is an owner. He knows what their strategy is going into whatever the talks are going to be. So maybe he doesn't give Freddie Peralta away and trade him. And maybe he banks on the idea of, I think I can sign him once this new deal gets done, because there's not going to be as much money out there for Freddie Peralta on the open market after we come out of this new CBA bargaining agreement. Maybe. How about those apples? Maybe there's something there. And that means maybe you could afford to sign Contreras too if there's a new CBA.
When do the conspiracy theories start then, Sparky? Of people saying they lost to the Dodgers on purpose to get the ball rolling?
No.
No.
I don't think you'll see that. It's a good idea, but I don't think you'll see that.
Somebody's going to say that. No. Somebody's going to put it out there on Twitter.
If the talent was reversed, where the Brewers had a lot more talent, got swept and barely scored, then maybe I could see that, right? But no, there was way more talent on that other team.
Imagine the Brewers had Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman. And
just one of them. If they just had Ohtani, that's literally all it is.
You just had Teoscar Hernandez. You would think it might be a little easier.
If you had Ohtani to pitch with Peralta in that rotation, and Ohtani was in that lineup, that changes the entire series.
Yeah.
The whole series has changed. I don't know if you win, but you have a hell of a lot better chance.
We can dream, Sparky. We can dream.
That's all it is, too. All right, let's make our NBA predictions quickly. Then we'll talk about what the San Francisco Giants are attempting to do. I'm telling you, you want to talk about rolling the dice? If you're Buster Posey running the Giants, that is a huge roll of the dice by Buster Posey. Could work, could be amazing, or could completely backfire. We'll get into that in a little bit. All right, NBA prediction time. Obviously, watched last night's game. Rockets are way better than I thought with Kevin Durant and Sengun. Oh, my God.
He's a dog.
Oh,
man.
my
He's
goodness.
going to be real good this season.
Dude, you got to be kidding me with him last night. He was better. He was the best player on the floor last night.
Well, and I love the big man game. Him and Steven Adams out on the court. They were doing that in the playoffs at the end of the year last year, and it was working, and they came out at the beginning of the year with it again. I think it's going to be a lot of fun seeing the resurgence of that Twin Tower type of look. It's fun.
I don't know what it is. I've never liked Steven Adams. He's a good basketball player. I just don't like him.
He's like one of the nicest dudes in the league. Everybody always says that.
I see him on the floor and I want somebody to elbow him in the face. I don't like him. I don't know why I don't like him. I don't know why, but there's just something about him. I don't like him. I have no reason whatsoever. Just pointing it out.
Interesting.
All right. Just pointing out. Just another one of those guys where I have no reason for why I feel the way I feel. Okay, let's make our Bucks predictions first. First prediction: how many wins say you when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks this year?
I think with the Milwaukee Bucks, this is a team in an Eastern Conference that should not be as competitive as it has been in the past. They should have a lot of games where they look better than maybe they actually are. I think I can see a 49-50 win season for this Milwaukee Bucks team.
That would be 49 or 50, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's over what any number you're going to find anywhere, including the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Nobody has them that high. I agree with you. I think it's going to be somewhere in the area of, I would say 47-50, somewhere there. That a prediction center or whatever it is. You see this news on this prediction business?
I have not yet. No,
you have not seen this. Okay, so let me see if I can call it up here quickly. Oh, we've got time. So there was a big deal made today between the NHL and this company that's in essentially the prediction business. So one of them, one of the ones are called Polymarket. You can call it up over there on your website, Polymarket. And they made their predictions for this season. The Bucks aren't even in the top 7 in the Eastern Conference. Not even in the top 7. Cleveland, 28% to win the East. New York, 18%. Orlando, 15%. Atlanta, 14%. Boston, 10%. Philly, 9%. Detroit, 8%. To give you an idea of what that is.
The Bucks are at 4%, tied with the Indiana Pacers at 4%.
Without Tyrese Halliburton.
Only 1% higher than the Miami Heat at 3%. And
Correct.
Only 3% higher than the Charlotte Hornets at 1%.
Right. So Kalshi, how do we say it? Kalshi, and the NHL made a deal, a partnership deal. And everybody views this as a threat to Prize Picks, DraftKings, and those guys going forward. So we'll have to see what this looks like. But the point is, nobody believes in the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think they have every opportunity to be better. Obviously, the key is going to be health, number one, like it is for most teams in the NBA. And number two, can this team really shoot the three as well as they did last year, shooting way more shots than they did last year? They're probably going to jack up, 10 more threes a game than they did last year. Can they still be the number one team in makes like they were last year? And instead of being 18th in attempts like they were last year, can they be 5th in attempts this year? They're never going to catch Boston because they're nuts. But maybe they go from 18th to 5th in three-point attempts, and is that enough to win a bunch of basketball games? We had Eric Name on yesterday from The Athletic, and him and I talked about it. The defense has to be a top 5 defense for this team to be a potential NBA Finals team. They have to be top 5. Can they be under Doc Rivers a top 5 team? We will see, because I'm not necessarily convinced they can be.
I think they have the want to. I think all the players on this roster want to be good defenders.
A lot of these guys were on this roster last year. Well, they didn't have want to last year, but they have want to this year.
They did. They're just not that good of defenders just naturally. Their skill doesn't lend to that. I think you saw Kevin Porter Jr. try really hard, and there's games where it works out really well for him. He gets 5 steals, and then other games where he looks like a traffic cone trying to guard Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, there's want to there, and I think if you can take a whole offseason to really just work with these guys, have a Miles Turner who's a lot more of an athletic player than a Brook Lopez at that center position, help ease everybody's tensions whenever somebody gets into the paint. I mean, there's a lot to be desired here with this Bucks defense, but I think they have the pieces that want to try to make it better.
All right, so we're both saying right around 50.
Yep.
Give me your NBA Finals prediction, East and West NBA Finals prediction.
I think when I'm looking at the NBA Finals, it's really kind of a toss-up, kind of like the Eastern Conference. So I'm going to go with my heart, Sparky, and my heart is saying the Orlando Magic are going to make some kind of magic run here.
This again.
It's awesome. I love the Orlando Magic.
You're on their payroll. I don't know why
And they're
going to
go up against,
but I'm convinced you're on the payroll.
They're going up against the OKC Thunder in the NBA Finals, the 00 Finals. I want to see it happen. I think it's going to happen. OKC is going to make a dynasty here, probably beat Orlando Magic.
Okay. No,
You're
I
such
don't.
a hater.
I am of the Magic. Yeah, I am. Yeah, there's no question. I'm a hater of the Magic just because you would love them so damn much. I'm going to take the Bucks, and I'll take them playing the Rockets, and they beat Durant again
Ooh,
to
okay,
win the
I
damn
like
thing.
that.
Bucks against Durant and the Rockets, and a former Celtics head coach at that. And the Bucks win the whole thing.
And the Sengun Giannis rivalry that started this summer, that's all going to be there too.
That would continue as well, no doubt. Thanks for tuning in today. Back at it tomorrow again at 2. Wisconsin Sports Wrap Up next with Tommy Wirtz. That's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Enjoy the rest of your night. Go Bucks. Toodles.